Oh, we're live.
We should now be live.
Sweet.
Nice.
There we go.
I got the notifications.
Cool. Let me make sure chat's working since we weren't sure. It's not showing chat in this page here. That's real handy.
I'm gonna see
Yeah,
if I
so
can.
we have to open it up in a different window.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and do that. All right. So now people are watching us like try to cook the bacon here. There's chat. Yeah, if you open up the YouTube link and then pop out chat, you should be able to do it that way.
It works.
Yay.
Awesome. So if anyone has decided to actually join us, welcome to the very first episode of what we're calling the 4xTubers or 4xTubers. I don't know that I've ever said it out loud before.
Me neither.
Round
4
table.
YouTubers. Something like that.
Right. So, like a month and a half or two months ago now, I had this crazy idea to set up a Facebook group for off-road enthusiast YouTubers. And the idea was so that we could collaborate, right? So, we made the group and we got a bunch of folks to join. And then I had another crazy idea that we should do roundtables like this one. So, the idea is we'll pick a topic and we'll chat about it, and whoever's available from the group to join in and just chat about the topic is welcome to join in and chat about the topic, and hopefully these turn into some very informative streams. So I guess we'll find out how informative they become after this episode. So I'm Nate from SWB Crawler. If you're watching the stream, you should see the logo for my channel above my name. The rest of you want to introduce yourselves one at a time. FM Jeeping, go.
I'm FM Jeeper, real name Mark.
Cool. Bearded Jeeper next.
What's up, guys? I'm the Bearded Jeeper.
The beard shows. And then there's only one left. The Jeep
Hey,
Kitchen.
I'm Eric, the Jeep Kitchen. I have no beard. I can't grow one. Sorry.
Can't? Like literally can't? That's a
No, I
shame.
literally cannot. Like, I shaved it yesterday after like a month and a half, and I had like nothing.
Just gotta let it grow. Let it grow.
Yeah, the wife don't like that. I get tired of listening to her.
All right, so I'm trying to keep up with chat now. We've already got Jack the Jeep is watching. Sorry you couldn't join us. I understand you're traveling.
Yeah, was he texting and driving here? That's not safe.
I just told him, thought you were driving, man. Don't do that. So, first thing I want to mention is if you are an off-road YouTuber and you don't know what this channel or what this group is and you want to join, just search Facebook for the group 4xTubers. And you should find it. There's a couple questions you got to answer to join, and that's basically so that I can tell if you actually own a YouTube channel before I let you in, because I don't want this to be like some cesspool of just random people that want to meet YouTubers. So,
Or a few of us wannabes.
sorry, what's that again?
Or a few of us wannabes.
Whatever. We were all there once. Look, it took me 2 years to get like an actual established base on SWB Crawler, and I still look up to even people like Kyle here because he's got like 5 times the subscribers I do. Right? So everyone's somewhere, right? Everyone's somewhere. So at any rate, I guess we're going to try to keep the flow going here. The idea for tonight was we were going to chat about what could be a kind of hot topic, something that I see on social media in a lot of groups and a lot of forums and whatever. And it's sometimes the recipient of some almost scorn and hatred. And that is, can I fit 35s on my Jeep? So you can't go far without meetings, or you can't go far on the internet anymore without finding an argument on social media. And one of the things that I see a lot of is folks that just bought a brand new Jeep or a new to them Jeep, and they're trying to figure out what they can do with it. You know, they want to go out and wheel, or they just want it to look awesome. And they think 35s are like the be all end all. They want to get the 35s. And so they go to these groups in general, just groups on Facebook or message forums or wherever. And they ask, hey, can I fit 35s on my Jeep? Or how big of a tire can I fit on my Jeep? And I don't know. a lot of us that have been around a long time have seen this question a billion times. Some people just happily answer it, and I'll say most. It seems like most people just like flame this poor person for asking the question. So, I mean, I guess that's twofold, right? One is community in general. Maybe that'll be a topic for another show. But the other is, I thought maybe we would chat about the actual technical reasons why you could or could not run 35s on a stock Jeep or a stock vehicle, I should say. It doesn't have to be Jeep centric. I think we're all Jeepers on this show at the moment, though.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, right. So, I don't know. I'm big on trying to wheel on a budget. That comes through in my channel. I don't know that anybody likes to spend a lot of money, but I've got 33s on my LJ and almost no suspension or drivetrain modifications. I don't have a slip yoke eliminator yet. I swapped some JK springs underneath it, which is the thing I heard you might be able to do, so I figured I'd try it, which gets you like 1.5 inches or 2 inches of lift. And that's it. I wheel it. I put an anti-rock on the front instead of sway bar disconnects, and that's pretty much my suspension. I can't fit 35s on there, though. But the JK kind of changed that. Right?
Yeah, I think it all kind of depends on what vehicle you have. I mean, 35s on a JK will fit stock relatively easily. Maybe trim the little inner fender liners a little bit, but then like on my Cherokee, I stuffed 35s under it, and I had to trim out the wheel wells quite a bit, and it still in the rear doesn't like it.
Yeah, I saw you trying to move that thing. It doesn't look like it likes it at all.
No, it's not happy.
1/2 inch of clearance between the tire and the fender isn't fitting.
And I want to put 40s under it, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, right. So, Mark, you drive a Cherokee, right? Have you? What size tires you on?
Right now I'm running a 33. Really, just because it was in the budget and they fit under there pretty nice. Ultimately, I do want to go up to 35s. It's probably my next size tire. And this is a point of contention with everybody, especially in the Cherokee world, is the Dana 30, which is what I have, safe to run 35s? Some people say yes, some people say no. Some people say it has how you wheel. I'm very light on the throttle. I'm not very throttle heavy, so I could probably get away with it fairly safely, I guess. So it's a matter of opinion or driving style.
The 30 it gets a bad rap because it's a stock axle, I think. Everyone thinks, oh, well, it's not the Rubicon axle, it must be garbage. And I'm not going to say that the 30 is a great axle, but it's not horrible, right? I mean, yeah, it's got a relatively small housing, relatively small axle shafts, but 33s and 35s, if you beef it up a little bit, it'll run that.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen folks running 37s on the Dana 30.
I've talked to a couple of people doing
37s on a Dana 30, but it's a JK 30, which is a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, they got bigger U-joints, I think, and a stronger housing. Do you have it trussed?
Not yet, but I got a truss after snapping the first one in half.
Oh,
I don't want to relive that.
No, you don't have it trussed. I remember that now.
I would actually say that the JK 30 is weaker than the TJ 30 on the housing itself. Just that extra length, for some reason, they bend and snap. I've seen more JK 30s break, and the 44s in stock form as well, break versus anything else on a JK or a TJ or MJ XJ.
So who was it? Oh, it was Dirt Lifestyle. Just did that episode on how he built his front axle. He has a 44 out of a full width Ford, I think. He was talking about the JK 44s and how he considers them a pretty weak axle. I don't know. I guess that's debatable for some people, but I've heard that from lots of people.
Yeah, he was saying the ring and pinion was a whole lot better, though.
Yes. The ring and pinion is stronger, but everything else about them seems to be much weaker. The tubes and the housing and I guess the pumpkin is probably about standard, but
yeah, it's cast steel, so it's
yeah. I guess we're kind of rambling a bit. I don't know. I should have come up with an actual set of talking points for this.
It's the first one. We get to figure it out.
Yeah, right. We get a pass for the first one. So, I guess for the JK, right? You can get a JK stock. The Rubicon comes with what, 32s or 33s?
30. It's like a 32 and a half.
Okay. I know the TJ Ruby was like a 31. So.
Mine actually came with the Rubicon tires because it's the Islander edition. I don't know if that was like something the previous owner had ordered, but I don't think so because she was like a little old grandma that just drove her kids around in it. So
that poor Jeep. It's like, I had such an easy life.
Now I get abused.
Now I got my front axle snapped in half. Right. So, right. The JK could probably fit like 33s or so, almost stock. Right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm guessing here. That's what
Easy.
I haven't tried it. We have a JK parked out front, but it's my wife's, and we haven't really done anything to it at all yet. The Cherokee, what you think? Like 31s, maybe you could fit on that thing stock.
You could probably
without any
fit,
mods.
Oh, well,
no.
Depends on how
need
friendly you are with a trimmer.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
so
So you
even
probably would
31s
need a
won't
lift or trim.
Yeah,
Okay.
I put 31s on, and no, you can only
Wow.
turn about 40% of what stock is. So yeah, it doesn't in stock form. It doesn't work.
Wow. Okay. The only other model I have a lot of experience with is the YJ, and the YJ you could barely fit 31s on stock with the factory fenders. The drivetrain amongst most of these vehicles is similar though. I mean, you've got the 35 that was there in the YJ and the TJ. The JK had a 44 in the rear for just about its whole lifespan, didn't it?
Yeah, its whole life, yeah.
Yeah. So if you're thinking I want to go to 35s, then I guess that's really the first thing you need to think about. What kind of axles do you have under there, and what kind of gearing do you have in those axles? Because the thing that you're going to get hit with, of course, is if the gearing is set wrong, you're going to have like zero power on the highway.
Well, and do you have an automatic or a manual? That's going to make a big difference as well.
Yeah. Now I've heard that go both ways. I feel like the automatic eats that up a lot better than the manual does, but I've heard other people say it's unbearable with the automatic.
I don't know. Mine's an automatic, and I haven't. I mean, it's a little horrible going up hills with 37s and stock gears, but it's really not unbearable. It's my daily driver, so it gets me to and from.
Yeah. Now I'm assuming you didn't regear that.
Not yet, no.
That's expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a used set of 410 gears that I want to put in it because I think it's 373s I have stock, and I just got to buy like the master install kits, but they're like $100 a piece. So.
Yep. I've been through that. Not with the LJ, but on my YJ. I went to a friend of mine used to live out in Jersey, and I just like drove out there with gears and install kits, and I actually got a used carrier out of a Dana 30 to swap into the YJ, and we did it in a weekend. Then I drove it back home. Those were like hectic weekends when I used to do that. Anyway, I'm rambling again. Nothing like being in the middle of Jersey and not sure if you're going to get to work on Monday.
Yeah, Jersey is pretty sketchy as it is driving through some of those places.
Yeah. So, right, axles and gears. Transmission and transfer case really don't care much about what size tires you have unless you haven't geared properly. And a thing a lot of people miss when they're thinking about what gears and tires they want to run is what they're doing to the engine by not having the proper gears, right? So if you're bogging the engine down all the time, it's not going to run nearly as efficiently, which not only is going to hurt things like fuel economy, it could over time actually hurt the engine, right?
Yeah, and well, overheating too. I was having issues with my JK because the older JKs didn't come with transmission coolers. So I destroyed one transmission, just completely overheating it. Wow. And I installed a transmission cooler now, so that shouldn't happen again. But
which transmission do you have?
It's the 42 RLE.
Same one I have. I hate that thing.
Yeah, it's not nice. I don't like it.
I hate that transmission. Mine died, as my viewers will know. Mine died about a year ago, and I had to replace it. Ugh.
Yeah, I remember when your ears went out there. That was. Ugh.
Yeah. And talk about being stuck, right? I had a daily driver that I had just sold because I was trying to. I'm on a mission to try to get some debts gone, right?
Right.
And I had 3 car payments and didn't want 3 car payments, so I sold the daily driver because I wasn't about to sell the Jeep. Like 2 months into driving the Jeep every day again, and the transmission goes.
Yeah, that's just horrible luck right there.
Yeah, right. I mean, I should have known better. That poor Jeep has been through enough. I shouldn't have expected to have it hold up for daily driving. So, yeah. So, all right, gears, drivetrain, engine, and then, of course, clearance, right? So if you're going to clear 35s, you need clearance for 35s. Now, you could just break out the Sawzall, but there are limitless fender options, right?
Yep.
For the Wranglers.
Oh, right. You poor
Yeah, it
Cherokee.
depends on what you're putting it on.
Yeah.
It depends if you want to remain street legal or not, too.
That's a whole other debate.
Indiana has no laws about it. They don't care.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
I know.
Here in PA, so the law is written that your tires have to be covered by the flare, and the tire can't stick out past the body, not the flare, but the body, more than 3 inches. So that basically means that the flare is not allowed to be wider than 3 inches. Oh, wait, no, the flare can't be wider than 3 inches either, right? So tire can't stick out more than 3 inches, flare can't be more than 3 inches, and this is body, not flare. And, of course, tire has to be covered. So it's like, that's stock.
Yeah.
If you go anything wider than stock, you're illegal.
Yeah, and don't they have some crazy law about like going doorless too?
Yep.
You're not supposed to.
Yep.
Oh.
If the vehicle was originally manufactured with doors, you have to have the doors on.
They kind of turn a blind eye to that at Bantam, though.
Yeah. Well, so that's the thing. Most cops don't care. You know, they won't pull you over for having your doors off, but they can.
Yeah, you'll get that one that's in a bad mood, and
Yeah, you get that one that's had a bad day, or he didn't like the music you had on, or whatever, and he's like, "I'm pulling this guy over." Same thing with the flares. I see Jeeps driving around all the time that have no flares, or trimmed flares, or whatever. I mean, in PA here, right? And I'm like, if that was me, I'd be pulled over in a minute.
I don't even want to go to PA now.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Hey, that's where Rock Creek is.
Years ago, when I still had my YJ, before I was married or anything, I was still living at my parents' place, and I was swapping the flares, the stock flares, to TJ flares, which is a pretty common swap for YJs because you still got a flare, but the TJ flares have a lot more clearance for tires under there. So a friend came over, right? We have the flares off my Jeep. We're in my dad's driveway. We have the flares off, which took us like a couple hours in the morning because everything was stuck and whatever. And it's time to get lunch. And I said, you know what? We'll just hop in my Jeep. We'll go across town, get a pizza. We'll come right back. Literally 3-mile drive. I got stopped.
Oh, man.
So, I tell the cop, look, we took him off. We like the pizza is in the back seat. We just went to get lunch.
offer him up a slice.
So he let us go. But yeah.
Oh, man.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's my luck though. That's how it goes. So
Yeah, I haven't really been messed with in Connecticut too much. I think as long as the flares, as long as you have flares and your tires aren't sticking out too much further than the flares, they don't really seem to care. I don't have flares, so I haven't really been bugged. Knock on wood. I say that now. Watch.
You know what the law is up there though?
Not really, to be honest. I mean,
apparently it's not a problem then. If you don't know what it is,
you should see some of the Jeeps drive around up here. Like you said, flares, like no flares on it at all. Like look like they're barely functional as vehicles. They're flying around here. They don't seem to bother anybody.
Yeah, I have family lives in Michigan, and apparently Michigan has very lax or maybe no inspection law. I forget what the exact law is, but the vehicles you see in Michigan are like It's like a bucket of rust with 2 tires and no windshield.
Indiana is the exact same.
Yeah.
There's no inspections. There's 2 counties up because of the steel mills up in northern Indiana.
Yeah.
Other than that, they don't care.
Wow.
You cut your cat off, they don't care.
Yeah. Right.
See, we have emissions. We used to have inspection, but they got rid of that years and years ago. And then our neighbor to the north, Massachusetts, like their inspection's actually a lot more strict than I've seen. Like you can't have rust or a certain amount of rust.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
Yeah,
has to
New
be
Hampshire's
100%.
the same way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if we have rust that, I think if it goes through a body panel,
Yeah,
Like,
if
you
you
can
have
have
like
surface
sharp
rust.
edges or something.
if surface rust is fine, whatever, but it can't go through. It can't like eat through a body panel, and it won't pass. You have to
Right,
fix
like a
those.
structural thing.
I'm pretty sure neither one of my TJs would pass at all. And I'm building one from the ground up.
Yeah, well, I mean, my ultimate goal is to get mine onto a trailer and get a tow rig, and then I won't have to worry about it. It'll have to go from the garage to the trailer on the street, and that's it. I'll probably get pulled over driving to my trailer.
Probably.
They're just out there waiting for you.
Yeah, right.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah, right. There's a PA. I mean, I know this isn't the deal around the entire U.S., but in PA, the only real legal wheeling is off-road parks. And there was one up in Hazleton, which is gone now. Anyone who's been around long enough will remember Paragon Adventure Park. It was one of the first like for-pay off-road parks in the U.S. Anyway, cops used to literally. It was in an industrial park, right? You'd go into this industrial park and you'd go in into some old coal mining area, right? And cops would literally sit at the exit on a weekend, and everyone that came out that didn't meet the flare laws or didn't have their doors on or whatever, they'd get a ticket.
Wow.
Isn't that like entrapment or something?
Yeah, some people tried to fight it. I think some people won, but it didn't stop them from doing it. They kept doing it.
Yeah, that's pretty low right there.
Yeah, and it wasn't like it was every weekend, but it was frequent enough that people, they knew it was happening, and there were stories.
Yeah, in New Hampshire, as far as legal wheeling goes, we have what they call Class 6 roads. They're just old roads that are no longer maintained by the town. They're like old farming roads and stuff, and you'd think they wouldn't be bad, just like old little dirt roads, but they get pretty rocky and torn up, especially a lot of people going on them. And they kind of double as snowmobile trails in the winter a lot too, so we have to work nicely with the snowmobile people because we don't want to destroy the trails for them and vice versa.
Yeah. We have a decent number of trails that are shared between recreational, mountain biking and jeeping. Nothing crazy, like nothing that you really want to go visit. But if you just want a weekend off road, or a day or an afternoon off road, but it's the same deal, right? You run into a lot of just kids that run out there with their 4x4 and a case of beer, and then they just trash the place. And then someone comes through on their mountain bike, oh, look at these off-roaders are terrible. We have to keep them out of the woods,
Yeah, and I don't know about the trails anywhere else, but I know in New Hampshire, Class 6 roads are still technically roads. So if you get caught drinking on it, you can still lose your license, get a DUI for it. Yeah,
I don't really know how that. These are unmarked roads. They're basically old coal access roads or fire breaks, things like that in the woods that aren't gated off. They're all technically private property, so you could be arrested for being on these things.
Yeah, and the roads in New Hampshire, if people are trashing them too much and then people complain who live near it, the town can vote and they have town meetings and they can overthrow a Class 6 road and they can make it so you can't go on it anymore. Yeah,
see, that's a shame.
It's a shame that that public land keeps getting taken away. In Connecticut, the only legal wheeling is private property, and there's you got to have owner permission and do it through clubs, and that's a really big push here in Connecticut is to make sure that people are legally wheeling, either through clubs, through events, and unfortunately, a lot of the good places are actually out of state.
Yeah, like even Massachusetts to your north there doesn't have a whole lot. There's only a couple of trails that are really worthwhile.
Right. But I believe they've actually turned a corner in terms of land use with the government. I'm probably speaking out of turn, but I think they've actually recognized the need for more public trails for wheeling and off-road activities, whether it be horseback riding, snowmobiling, mountain biking, dirt biking, that type of thing. And they've actually acknowledged that they need to do more work to open those up for people, which is a huge win for them, because I believe they've been working through legislation for years to even get them to come to the table.
I hear about states that have California, right, has the BLM, is it? Bureau of Land Management?
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people that complain about that because it's like, they're, some government body that's controlling whether we can wheel or not, which sounds terrible. But when you look at a state like Pennsylvania, we don't have something like that. Just about every piece of land is just blocked off. You can't use it unless it's owned by a private owner that allows you to use it, like an off-road park, or like I'm buddies with the guy and he lets me wheel on his land, that kind of thing, right? So maybe I should be careful what I wish for, but I almost wish Pennsylvania had something like the BLM.
Well, and like in New Hampshire, we have a couple of groups, and I know there's groups in like Massachusetts, Connecticut, and stuff that are part of the NEA, and they work with landowners to make new trails and try to get a good image of wheelers, and they have tons of permission for private land through the NEA. And if you're a member of the NEA, or if your club is a member of the NEA, you can use some of these trails. So it kind of widens your horizon.
Yeah, right.
It's a great association. They've really done a lot, especially in the last few years, and their land that they can use is it's getting bigger and bigger. So
yeah. I want to say Jericho State Park that I went to for the first time at the end of this year, with all those Jack Cherokees. If you've seen my video on that, that was I guess I think the NEA was part of cutting the trails on that as well. They were working with them because that was more of like a ATV and UTV trail kind of park, and then I think they're slowly trying to cut more and more Jeep trails now.
I've seen that, because I was looking at possibly doing like a summer trip up there, at least with the family, and I was told that there are places to wheel up there, but they don't, especially on their website, say 4-wheel drive or Jeep off-road trails, but people have told me that they have them there.
Yeah, they only have it's basically like 1 or 2 kind of trails. They're pretty hardcore trails, and it's a good deal. It was like $20 and got to do whatever I wanted for the whole day. So
it's a small price to pay.
But. Yeah.
Reminds me of, I don't know how it is now. It's a shame Nikki G couldn't join because he could answer this question since he's in North Carolina. But like back in 2002 or so, my wife and I, fiance at the time, drove my Jeep all the way from PA down to North Carolina to wheel at Uwharrie for a day. And the whole experience was so different than what I was used to up here in PA, because it's a national forest, right? Here, national forest is like, if you get caught wheeling here, you're going to be in trouble.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Down there, it's no, you pay us $5. And by the way, to pay us, you basically put $5 into an envelope and write your name on it and stuff it in a box. Like, there's no guy at a gate. There's no anything. There's no inspection. There's no tech that you have to go through. Nothing. It's just like, drop the money in the box and go wheel.
That works.
It was crazy. I think it's changed. I don't think it's the money in the box thing anymore. I think now it's there's a convenience store that's nearby that everybody would stop at to get their lunch and whatever before they went in. So now they do it there. So maybe it's a little different now, but then it was, night and day different compared to what I'm used to.
How many people we got on the chat now? Or on the live stream?
It looks like we got quite a few people chatting. Let's see what the dashboard says. It says we got 9 people watching. Everybody sound off. Tell us who you are.
My chat isn't working.
Your chat's not working? Yeah, so what I had to do is I went to the YouTube link, or I guess if you go to my channel, you should be able to see the live link, and then you can chat there.
Someone's fluffing their numbers.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm watching it too, so that's a couple of people less. So we probably have like 4.
I should have got that link and shared it with you guys and shared it with social before we went live.
We'll learn for next time.
I fail. Next time there'll be a checklist.
Well, the more we do this too, especially if we do it at like a regular time or a regular schedule, they'll get used to it.
So I guess that's worth chatting about for people that are watching. What kind of format this is going to continue to follow, or hopefully continue to follow. So the idea that I had was that this will help us open up some collaboration between several YouTubers, right? Like the 4 of us on this channel or on this video right now, our stream. It won't always be one channel that we're hosting on, though, because then it would just be like, oh, Nate's just trying to up his numbers by getting all these other YouTubers to come to his channel. That's not what I want this to be. I want us to have like a set. Yeah, right. I want us to have like a set number of hosts, and then we're going to rotate. Right. So Bearded Jeeper has opted to take the next stream, which we should probably talk about scheduling, but I'm hoping is next Friday at the same time.
Works for me. Fridays work well.
And then, if I can make it, I'll join and be on the cast as well. If I can't, I can't. Right. So not only does it make it easier for whoever's hosting, that they're not obligated to every Friday night hosting the thing. It also means that it's not just one channel that's getting all the attention. So anybody who's watching who wants to catch the next episode should probably go subscribe to the Bearded Jeeper. Just saying.
You probably should. I think everyone on here should subscribe to all the channels right now too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the other thing. I want my viewers to see other channels and what you guys are about, right? So, I mean, if we wanted to, we could even go through some kind of a little description as to what your channels are. Should we do that? I don't know. But yeah, the whole idea is that we're exposed to more channels and maybe get an idea of who's hosting those things, right? So anyway.
Yeah, we can also talk about possibly like if I don't know if people want to hear it. Like you had mentioned, Nate, talking about how like to start a YouTube channel or like how we do our videos, what's involved in the setup. Because some people might be interested. There might be some people in the comments who want to start a channel, but they don't know where to start. So
yeah, maybe that'll be a topic for another show. We do have within the group, the Facebook group that is, we do have a couple bigger names. I don't want to like name drop or something, but we do have a couple bigger names, and maybe we can get them in on one of those shows. So you can get a perspective from smaller channels. Now I'm hitting my mic. From smaller channels just getting started, or just like at the beginning of their journey, and then some bigger channels about how they got there and whatnot. So that'd be cool if we can get them involved.
Yeah, definitely. The more people we can get on this and networking and bringing all these off-roading and automotive YouTubers together, I think it's going to be helpful for everyone. Kind of learning, and a lot of these channels you might not have heard of before if they have only like 100 subscribers or less than 1,000. I know before you hit that 1,000 mark, sometimes it's really hard to kind of put yourself out there, and your videos aren't as recommended as other channels, so people might not know about you, but you still might have great content.
Yeah, I got to say that in the first, so I started SWB Crawler, I mean, in earnest, probably about 2 years ago. The channel's been around longer. I think it was like 2015 or 16. I posted my first video, but it was more or less like I needed a place to host a video for something else I was already doing, right? It wasn't like I'm trying to make a YouTube channel now. And that first 2 years where I really started to put effort into it, I'm like, this is never going to go anywhere. It's never going to take off, because it's like you're getting a subscriber a month, right?
Yeah.
2 or 3 in a month.
Especially that first 100 is a real tough battle.
Yes, absolutely.
And
so
like
you always say, sorry, I was just going to ask how many subscribers you have now.
35.
35? Yeah. How long have you been at it?
It's all friends. I think I have like 3 people that I don't know who they are.
Yeah, but I mean, how long have you been putting out videos?
2 months, maybe.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's literally all friends. Everybody in my group around me decided we're going to do YouTube at the same time.
So, Mark,
So
I think you might be muted. I keep seeing you try to talk.
Son of a gun. All
There
right.
you go.
My kid came into the room, so I muted it. So
Yep.
and I forgot to turn it off.
In there. So, yeah, I mean, that first 100, it's like, I can't wait until I can have my own YouTube URL. That'll be awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, but then you get to that 100 and you're like, oh,
Like-
you're hungry for more after that. You just want to keep growing.
No,
and growing.
Oh, yeah.
you get to the 100 and all that URL gets you is that it's easier to tell people where to find your channel.
Yeah,
That's
you're
it.
not user 26539.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
It makes your link look better on Facebook.
it does. It does. It makes it a lot easier to just say like, I'm youtube.com/SWBcrawler instead of, go to my website and click on this thing and that'll take you to YouTube, or go to YouTube and search for me, or, whatever.
Or spamming everybody in your posts.
Yeah,
That's
right.
all I feel like I'm doing anymore.
That is,
It's
I
part
fight
of the
with
game.
that. I fight with that every time I share a video.
I think
like
it's kind of hard to spam, though. You may think it's spam, but you got to figure how all the algorithms work on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. Not everyone's going to see your posts, so you may post 100 times a day, but this one person might see your video that you posted on the 67th time and not the first through 50th or something.
That is true.
I had a hard time doing the same thing, and even still, I kind of second guess myself. But if you don't, the algorithm just will not pick up on you. Like you literally you got to just shout from the mountaintops, like, "Hey, I got my channel. Come check me out." And some people will like it, some people won't. But you got to get the momentum going. And once it does, it starts to pick up.
Yeah, I'll say that once I hit 1,000 subscribers, for whatever reason, it seems like I gain subscribers faster now than I ever did. I've gotten, I think, 140 or so, 150 subscribers since hitting 1,000 in probably a quarter of the time it took me to get from 1 to 100. And I don't know if that's just because once you hit 1,000, YouTube changes how it promotes you. I don't know.
It has to be.
It seems like it has to be. Because the from 1 to 1,000 took 2 years. It took forever.
You got to 1,000 in 2 years? Oh,
roughly.
Man. I got to step my game up.
So
I think it's how people put out videos too. If you're putting out lots of content, if you're putting out 2-3 videos a week, you might hit that number faster than if you say put 1 a week or 1 a month or something.
I think it kind of depends on the type of video you're putting out too, because the way I kind of see it is that there's vlogs, there's like how-to, and other types of videos. Like the vlogs are kind of easy if it's. Let me refrain from saying that. Let me rephrase that. Vlogs are a different style. I think you can probably put up more of them, as opposed to like a well-documented how-to or a wheeling adventure where you're kind of stuck around a specific time, like how long it takes to do that mod and film it. Vlogs are a little bit different. Like I have an idea or an opinion, here it is. So
I used to do roughly a vlog a week, and I had a long commute, so I would literally like set my phone on my dash and start recording, and I would just talk. And it got me to put up content once a week, but I always felt like it was filler. You know what I mean? They never got a lot of views, and I got comments on them, but they weren't like really engaging. So I just kind of stopped.
But all it takes is that one comment or that one person seeing it. Like, say one person from a certain big off-roading company sees that and they like it. They could contact you, and next thing you know, you're repping for them or
it could
have
be
all their product. You never know. It's always that one shot.
Or maybe they see me and think I talk too much. I don't know.
Yeah, but then maybe a different company sees. I mean, there's so many companies out there, and I think a lot of people that's another whole nother topic, is when it comes to like sponsorship and begging for free product and not giving the company anything in return. I think there's way too much of that out there.
Yeah, you see that on every Facebook page, every group. Somebody's, hey, give me free stuff. It's like, no, earn it. You
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
You want it. Pay for it, pay full price for it, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, and you got to be willing to actually put out the effort, because basically what they're doing by giving you free product is that's marketing for them, and they're gonna have to. You're gonna have to. And that's instead of them putting ads on Facebook or paying for this or that, they're paying the cost of someone to build the product and ship it to you. So if you're not giving them quality content or helping promote them, they can't see the benefit in it. There's no pro for them. It's just like they're handing out freebies, and it's not worth it for their company.
I always find it difficult to ask, right? Like some people just they'll go to a vendor and they'll say, "Hey, I've got a YouTube channel. Send me stuff." Right?
Sure.
That always makes me feel like you're just standing there waiting for a handout. And I get that some people get results out of that, but
yeah, I never try to just say like, "Hey, I have a YouTube channel. I want free stuff."
yeah,
I've contacted a couple companies before and said, "Hey, I really like your product. Do you need any video work done? This is what I do for videos," and have them decide on their own. If they don't want anything to do with me, they don't like my videos, that's all right by me. There's plenty of other companies out there.
yeah, right. So we've rambled all over the place at this point. What were we talking about again? 35s.
Yeah, that started the whole
Yeah, how do we get to
conversation.
35?
How did we get to talking about YouTube growth? I don't know.
Well,
That's what happens when you put a bunch of YouTubers in a box.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah. Go get some 35s, try to fit them on your Jeep and let us know.
easier on newer Jeeps, that's for
JL.
sure.
Yeah, and then you got the JL with that stupid central axle disconnect thing there. And
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the JL. I don't know nearly enough about the model yet. I know, it seems like every time Jeep comes out with a new Wrangler, they up the max tire size that you can fit on there, and they come up with a couple more things that make it easier to put larger tires on. Aren't people slapping like 38s on the JL?
yeah,
The JL
yeah.
Rubicon?
Yeah, 37 stock. You just
It's like-
remove, I think, a little 2-inch plate underneath the fender.
Yeah, because the Rubicons have
Crazy.
that little tiny removable plate to kind of extend your fender and make it bigger just by pulling
Right.
that off.
Right. And even like the tire carrier where they have the rear brake light, the third brake light, it's adjustable to fit a larger tire. Like
Yeah.
they're thinking, they see us.
They listen.
Yeah, they see us and they're like, they want these things, so let's try to do that.
They're building a vehicle that they know that people are going to want.
Oh,
Yeah.
looks like you got to send out a sticker there, Nate.
Yeah, right. That's Blaine.
That's just plain.
Yeah, thanks, Blaine. Actually, here's your sticker, Blaine.
Come get it.
I bought a couple when I switched my print vendor. So I have one sitting here.
And I have another idea for 35s too. I wonder how I posted the other day about the electric Wrangler that's coming out. I wonder how that's going to be as far as power wise, because electric vehicles usually have like on-demand power, but are those like motors and however it's set up, is that going to be able to handle big tires without parts breaking?
So there's a number of ways to do electric vehicles. The standard way, at least I think, I've never owned an electric vehicle, but just thinking about like how you could build an electric vehicle, you could just literally take the combustion engine out and replace it with an electric powerhouse, right?
Yep.
and then it just drives the same transmission and axles and everything that the gasoline engine did. That's probably how Jeep's doing it. I haven't seen the electric Wrangler. That's probably how they're making it happen.
From what I heard, they were doing it's a hybrid. It's like you get the e-torque, which is a mild hybrid, then you have an actual hybrid. So it's not just a straight E vehicle.
I thought they had a plug-in electric. No?
I think they haven't released everything, so I don't think anybody knows yet.
So, well, anyway,
Sorry.
if you're replacing the gasoline engine with an electric motor, then it's just a matter of that electric motor has to produce as much power as your gasoline engine did, and you get similar performance, like drivability wise. Where I want to see the industry go is independent motors per wheel. That cuts out the entire drivetrain, right? Now
puts everything up higher too.
Right. And then you get individual wheel control. Like imagine that off-road. Imagine saying the front driver side tire, I want that to get power, and the rear driver side tire, I want locked up because I want to pivot. Right?
Yeah, you wouldn't even need like an Atlas transfer case to do like front digs and stuff. That'd be really neat.
That will, if people ever get there, if manufacturers get there, and maybe there's something that already exists, I don't know. But if we get there, this whole industry changes.
I think it's definitely headed that way. You see more and more electric vehicles, especially after the whole Tesla thing and the fail of the Tesla truck.
Oh man, the
How soon before you see one of those on a trail, though?
The ugliest vehicle I've ever seen. I've seen some ugly vehicles, but that thing.
There were so many memes on that.
And I think I actually saw this in a meme. The first thing I thought of when I saw that thing was, and I may be dating myself here, is 1990s like PlayStation 1 video games, because it was all polygons, like big polygons. They weren't like little tiny polygons like they use now. And it's just like everything looked like a triangle. That's what that truck looks like.
Well, I heard something like the lunar landing vehicle or something. The lunar vehicle. That's kind of swing and a miss, Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
It's funny you mentioned the moon lander, because that's essentially what you guys were just talking about with the electric vehicle, with the ability to turn each wheel independently.
Yeah.
It's literally the moon lander.
Yeah, I guess you're right. They did have independent, but I mean, it probably has lots of other drawbacks. Driving 4 motors like that, and driving it on the street,
getting it wet.
Max speed is like
getting it wet.
Nothing.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the other thing. There's no transmission required. It's literally just an electric motor. The motor has to have enough RPMs to get your wheels up to whatever speed they need to get to, and that's it.
Well, the vehicle would be super light, so it probably wouldn't take a whole lot to generate that speed.
Right.
Yeah. You're carrying nothing but vehicle weight and yourself.
Yep.
And then, whatever safety vehicle or safety equipment is necessary.
Yeah, I mean, what's a drivetrain weigh? Axles, transmissions, engines. It's probably 1,000, 2,000 pounds in some vehicles.
Yeah. Easily.
Think of those 1 tons, Nate. How heavy are those?
They're heavy. They're heavy.
I know a 4BT weighs 742 pounds.
Yeah.
That's a little 4-cylinder.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 4.0 is a heavy beast too.
Yeah, it's 400 or 500 pounds.
All right. So we're almost at an hour. Do we want to try to close this up? Or are we just having fun BSing?
It's up to you guys.
My coffee's almost done, so.
I have no time restraints at all, so whatever anyone else wants to do.
I'm good for like another hour.
So what's everybody's current projects going? Because I don't know everybody. I'm still new to this, so I'm learning to follow everybody. So catch me up. What's everybody doing?
My current project is keeping my Jeep working.
I think you're losing.
One thing after another has just gone wrong with the thing in the last year. It started with the transmission, and then it was like everything from the transmission to like a door handle failed on my Jeep in the last year.
Uh-oh.
Looks like we lost. Oh.
You scared him away, Nate.
Yeah, I guess that'll be fun to add him back in when he comes back.
It'll be a good test. Oh.
Well, I guess I'll mention my project then. I got Project Zip Tie, the Cherokee there.
Yep.
I got it in the garage right now. Gonna strip the axles and everything off of it. I have frame stiffeners for the front so far. Gonna do frame stiffeners throughout. It's gonna have 1-ton axles, 40s, cage, the whole 9 yards. It's gonna be dedicated trail rig, not street legal, of course. And
Sure.
so that means I got to get a trailer and a truck or something to tow it to.
Yeah, that'll be tricky.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at doing trailers so I can go further away. I'm not going to go as crazy as you right away, Kyle, but yeah, I want to do some big stuff with mine. Build it up slowly. Cage.
Well, hell,
eventually.
I mean, my JK, I had that. I mean, I just went to 3.5 inches from 2.5, but I wheeled that thing from here to Pennsylvania and up to Maine and stuff, and it's my daily driver. So it's all in how you wheel, I think, is a lot of it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm boring to watch when I wheel because I do not wheel aggressive.
Neither do I, and I think that's part of why my wheeling videos don't do nearly as well as my garage videos.
I think it's a lot in the trails too. Sometimes you have to give it a little bit more gas just to get up over an obstacle, like especially on the slippery terrain.
Hey, Jeep Kitchen is back. Yay.
Sorry about that. It just geeked out. I have no idea
He
what
had to
anybody
make a
said.
Jeep snack.
Died.
It's Jeep life, right? It just dies.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, I've always said that the plan for the LJ was to get it up onto 37s and whatever it is that I needed to get there. The 1-tons or the 60s aren't really compatible with that. So I don't know if that means I'm going to go bigger or if it means they're temporarily in my possession and they will be sold for funding smaller axles to go on 37s. Not that I wouldn't run 37s on 60s, but I feel like it's going to be a boat anchor.
Yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose if you're going all the way to the 1-tons. Might as well at least do 40s.
Yeah.
But Nate, you were saying I think doesn't going to 40s kind of limit you with where you typically wheel?
Yeah, it does and it doesn't. The tricky things are the Pennsylvania laws that I told you about, right? If I go full widths, then I can't drive it on the street anymore because in PA it'll be illegal. So I'll need a truck and a trailer. But whatever, I'm going to get there eventually anyway. I've wanted a truck and a trailer forever and just never really invested in one. But the other thing is the trails at AOAA and even Roush Creek here in PA, they're not terribly wide. You know what I mean?
Especially AOAA. There's some narrow trails there.
Yeah. So full widths and enormous tires, I think, could be a limiting factor there. Like, sure, they'll be beneficial for the crazy stuff, but I think they could be a limiting factor for the narrow stuff. And I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking that. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. The other thing is I guide for the Jeep Jamboree, and the upper tire size limit for the Jeep Jamboree is 37s. Now that doesn't mean that guides can't have higher than 37s. We're kind of an exception for that. But I don't know. In my head, I feel like I should stick to around 37s because that's what the participants are going to have, or the most they're going to have. You know what I mean?
Sounds fair.
So you'll get 37s. You'll be like, maybe I want 40s now.
Oh yeah, it'll happen. I'm sure. I mean, I've been wheeling the LJ on 33s for 3 years now, and I got to say that it performs pretty well. It bangs and scrapes quite a bit, but if I'm careful with it, I do blues in it all day long, and it's not a problem. To get onto the black trails, I'll probably need to get up to 35s.
That's what skid plates are for.
Yeah. Well, 35s is like a whole other snowball. Because I'll either need better clearance fenders or a lift. Hey, we're back on topic. Look at that.
It's a long way around.
Yeah. So
well, I think good thing about going like up a tire size is you're always going to air down. So a 35 aired down is more like a 33, a 37 aired down is like a 35. So
yeah. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going next. But whatever it is, next time I go larger tires, I'm going to need to re-gear, and I'm going to need more tire clearance, and it's going to be a whole snowball effect.
yeah, what do you have for gears in that 355?
They're 373s.
373. That's what I have in the JK, and I'm running 37s.
Yeah.
So it's not ideal, but it's not horrible.
Yeah, the 3.6 has a different.
Well, I have the 3.8.
3.8. I don't even know what the optimal RPMs for the 3.8 is, but the 4.0 has there's 1,000 RPMs right between, I don't know, it's 2,000 and 2,800 or whatever, where it's optimal performance.
Right.
And I'm just pulling this stuff out of the air at the moment. I don't remember exactly what the numbers are. Don't quote me, folks. I'm not an expert. I'm a YouTuber.
You're YouTube certified.
YouTube certified. Anyway, I don't know what the 3.8 or the 3.6 are, but that's something that I've looked at, and it looks like, at least for the 4.0, that if I don't re-gear, I'm gonna have kind of a headache. So. Yeah, the 3.8 has no optimal performance, according to Rich Lynch in the chat.
That is very true.
Agreed.
I struggle going up a hill.
It's the 2.5 of the JK world. There's no power.
Yeah, right. I've got a friend, and Blaine, if he's still in the chat, he knows this friend. He likes the 3.8 and he likes the 2.5. I can't explain it.
I love my 2.5. I've beat the crap out of it.
Yeah,
and it doesn't die.
Yeah,
I've had one issue with it, and that's the normal piston crap, but
yeah, they're
still lasted.
They're certainly durable engines, but they're not as powerful.
Yeah, I know there's another engine in the JL too that I was told was pretty good. I want to say it's like a 2 something.
I know.
Yeah, and I heard that thing's a little zippy Spitfire.
Yeah, so when we bought my wife's JK Unlimited, we bought it with 100,000 miles on it, and it had a couple problems, and we had to take it back to the dealer, and they had it for a week and a half or something. So they gave us a loaner, and the loaner they gave us was a 2018, so probably a leftover JL.
Yep.
Because this was just 6 months ago, and I was impressed the moment I got into it and drove it at how snappy the thing was. And I'm like, wow, they really did a good job. All the weight savings that they said and whatever, this 3.6 is really doing great. And then I looked under the hood and it's a 2.0. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I've heard real good things about that engine.
Hey, doesn't the turbo, the 2.0 have more torque than the 3.6?
It's also got the e-torque.
Yeah, right. It's got the e-torque and a turbo, right? Or are they the same thing? I don't know.
No, they're different. The e-torque is an electric motor. It's a 48-volt motor that discharges on acceleration. So you have instant torque at low end. And they will bark second with 37s.
Wow.
There's a local guy that has one, and it's impressive. It's. I would buy one in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that little thing, I was impressed. I mean, I know they probably gave it to us to tempt us to go buy a JL.
Of course.
It worked. I was very tempted.
I just need to find a scrapped one now and just take the engine out and put it in my JK.
There you go. I'm sure that'll be nice and easy. I'm sure there's no electrical nightmares you'll have to deal with or anything.
You just drop it right in, right?
Yeah, just plunk right in there.
Hanging out on the weekend, no problem.
Yeah. Not like the old carbureted days where you could literally run an engine on a stand.
Yeah. Yeah, too many wires in all these modern engines.
Yeah.
Jack to Jeep was saying that some Jamboree events don't allow 37s. And I've actually seen that. Some only allow up to 35s, and then others you have to be locked front and rear. It's really weird how the different events have different rules.
The reasoning they've always given us, now this is the Coal Mountain Jamboree that I guide for. It's at AOAA here in PA. The reasoning they've always given us is that they don't want the Jeep Jamboree to be viewed as an extreme event. So they don't want us guides to make trails that are so ridiculously hard that you need an extreme like buggy to get through, and they don't want the general public view of them to be that this isn't like a thing that just anybody can come into, because that's exactly what they want the Jeep Jamboree to be. They want you to be able to go to the dealership and buy a brand new Jeep and then take it right to the Jamboree that weekend.
Why can't they have a little bit of both?
They do.
Yeah, like
they do. That's the thing. So the Jamboree that I guide for, there's literally 7, I think, groups per day, and they range from green trails all the way up to black. So, it is a wide range, but it's all about how they think the thing is going to be perceived, from what I understand. Now, this isn't like official Jeep Jamboree literature I'm giving you here. This is just me trying to speculate as to why they limit us to 37s or limit the participants to 37. And they have waiver now too. You can actually get an exception, right? So if you have larger than 37, you can get an exception and whatever. But
yeah, because you'd want it to be all inclusive to get as many people in there as possible, not just limit it to new. And because a lot of your more experienced Jeepers, especially the ones that have bigger tires, they start to get bored on the smaller trails. So if that's all you have, why would they want to show up?
Some Jamborees are very sort of newbie centric. They're basically like, this is more like a vacation. It's more like, come on, hang out. We're going to drive through the woods a little bit and it'll be a fun time.
Yeah.
There's others that are just insane, right? So they really do sort of get the whole gamut of difficulties there. But yeah, ours is set up for any level. And we have people. I've been guiding at that one for, I think, 5 years now, or 4 years. I think it's 4 years. And I have seen the same people like 3 or 4 of those years, because they keep coming back. They want to come back to the same park, even though sometimes the trail we're taking them on is the exact same one we did the year before, right?
Yep.
So, but yeah, they love it. They enjoy the whole experience, so they keep coming out.
Yeah, it's like I always go every year to that Crawling for Cops event they have at Roush, and that's amazing. I keep going back. I've hit different trails, and we've become really, our group that I go with. We've kind of become friends with the guide, and he basically asked us, "Hey, what trails do you want to hit? We'll hit whatever you guys are ready for." And if there's someone smaller in our group, obviously we can't hit the trails. But this last year, we basically hit whatever we wanted to, because most of the Jeeps were pretty well modified JKs and stuff. So,
what level of trails are you hitting? Are you doing blue?
We did mostly blues, but we threw a few blacks in there. I'd like to do more blacks this coming year.
Yeah. Do you know the guide you used? Do you know his first name?
Donald Gordon Jr., I think, or senior. Senior, I think. Senior.
I was just curious if I knew the guy, because a lot of the folks who guide at Roush Creek also guide at AOAA. So, guess not.
I almost preferred AOAA over Roush Creek just for the price alone, because Roush, you're paying like, I think I pay like $70 to wheel there. Because you have to have the yearly membership fee, and then you're paying $20 for the day, so it's like $70 or something like that. And I don't get to get there very often, because that's like a 5-hour drive for me. Yeah,
the membership is really like, why am I doing a membership? But that's just the way they've done it like that since the beginning. I mean, don't get me wrong, Roush is a great park and it's run by great people. But I agree. I do the same thing. I go to AOAA because it's.
Was it like $20 for?
$35 for non-residents. Residents even get it cheaper, and I don't mean residents of PA. Residents of Northumberland County. It's a county-sponsored thing.
They're expanding, right? Isn't AOAA
always?
They're making some kind of like Rubicon trail. That's pretty neat.
What they're doing right now. And I knew about this like a year and a half ago, and I couldn't tell anybody, and it was killing me. But anyway, now it's public. So what they're doing is there's The land, like most things in Pennsylvania, is old coal mining land, old coal stripping lands. And because of coal stripping, like strip mining, the way it works is you end up with all these big divots, right? And those divots end up full of water, and then you have like these almost man-made ponds. One of those ponds, and then what usually happens is the locals find these ponds and they go swimming in them, or they just trash them, right? So there's one of those within AOAA that was, before AOAA was formed, was like the local swimming hole. People would come up and they'd swim. So you know what people do when they go out in the middle of nowhere where no one's watching them? They destroy everything, right?
Yeah, grab a six-pack of beer and throw it around. And
I don't know or remember all of the details, but basically the EPA was out to visit the park because the EPA is very involved in the AOAA because, like, that's why some of the trails are so narrow, because they don't want you cutting down too many trees, right? So they saw this pond and they basically said, this pond has to go. It's a hazard the way it is, right? It's like a hazard for wildlife. So they're like, we need to fill it in. We're going to do land reclamation and just like get rid of this pond because this standing water is not safe. So what the park did is they convinced the EPA to say, look, the way you normally do this is you take big boulders and you dump them into the water to fill it in, and then you put dirt over top of the boulders. Can you just do it the other way around for us and put the boulders on top? So that's what they're doing.
Cool.
Well, that works. Is everyone's happy? Yeah,
they're basically going to have a big rock garden. Like they expect this thing to be competition grade rock garden.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I think that's going to bring a lot more business to them, and it might hurt Roush's business if they take a lot of theirs.
Well, Roush,
they're so close.
Roush has things like Rock Creek. Have you been to Rock Creek at Roush?
I want to say I've been by it, but I don't think I've been.
It's basically like this enormous. I referred to it as a glacial deposit, but I've been told later that that's not actually what it is. But it's basically like a river of rocks.
Yeah,
that's the best way you can describe it. And it's just like through the center of the park, right? And AOAA doesn't have anything like that. So they'll be competing with Roush Creek, but I don't think it'll be necessarily better than what Roush Creek has. So
we'll have to see. Well, you never know.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. It's going to take them, I think they estimate like 2 years or something to get this done. There's a whole section of the park that's closed off right now until they get it finished. So I guess we'll see how quickly they get it finished. But it sounds like it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait to check it out.
Yeah, and to be honest, it's part of why when I saw the 60s listed on Facebook Marketplace that I kind of bid at it. Like,
you're going to hit some big stuff, in other words.
Like, if I ever want to compete, or not compete, but if I ever want to be able to do trails like that, I'm going to need these things. So.
I was going to say my goal for off-roading has changed so much, because before I was like, I'm not into rocks. I just want to get out in the woods and cruise and do a little bit of mud, a little bit of rocks, but just kind of get lost in the woods. And the more I kind of gravitated to wanting to get into rocks and do a little bit more rock crawling. I know my rig is not even close, but it's more fun for me. That's kind of like where I'm gravitating toward. And it's funny because I had no ambition of doing that when I first started.
Yeah, well, everybody starts out at the low end, right? And that low end is either like, I just need a rig I can go hunting in, or whatever. Or I need a rig that I can just plow through those puddles in. How many people started there, right? Yeah. Right? Yeah. And then you like fall into an actual, like, I'd really like something that takes a little more thought than just point it at the water and floor it. Right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people end up on rocks or overlanding. Overlanding's another great example. That takes a lot more, like, that's like, it intrigues me, overlanding. I don't know if I could ever live that way, though.
You have to be set up for it. You got to build a vehicle just for that.
Yeah.
And it's not a rock crawler. It's not a mud machine. It's something completely different.
It's a whole different mindset. a couple of the other podcasts that I listen to that are off-road centric either have shifted to overlanding or have had sections on overlanding, and it's just amazing to hear people that are really into it, how they built their vehicle so that it's not just capable, but if they're in the middle of nowhere, there's a good chance they're going to find parts, or there's a good chance that the tire vendor down the street is going to have the tires they need if they blow a tire, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's their house too. They have to have everything they need.
Right. That sort of thought is something I've never had to put into a Jeep, because it's like, if I blow out a tire, I'll just get it towed home by AAA and then wait a week to get a tire. Big deal.
Yep.
It doesn't work, I guess, when it's your only vehicle or your house, not just
Your house.
just your vehicle. It's the place you live.
Yeah, in an off-road world, you want to be as light as possible normally. In that world, you're pretty heavy. You have to carry everything you need to survive for an extended period of time. So it's not just a simple, I'm gonna pitch a tent and I'm done for the day. No, you gotta cook dinner. You gotta do all your stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
you're top heavy too.
Catch the kid from not yelling in the gun. Muting myself. Yeah, extremely top heavy. You
Especially some of those rooftop tents, they're like a couple feet in the air. Like,
yeah, right. If you're doing the rooftop thing, I've always thought, obviously I haven't put a ton of thought into building an overland JK, but I always thought a JKU would make a good overland rig, because you could theoretically anyway make yourself a nice little cot or bed or whatever right in the back of the thing.
yeah, they actually have air mattresses that fit in that space with the seats down like perfectly. It just drops right in. It fits right in there. It has little made up pillows and everything too.
That's pretty cool. Unless you're tall.
Yeah, unless you're tall, then you're screwed.
Luckily, I'm short. I could probably lay down in the back of a JKU pretty comfortably.
I've never been in a JKU.
You've never been in one?
Never been in one.
Wow.
I've been in a TJ, LJ, YJ, XJ, never JK or above. So.
Well, you'll have to come up and visit. I got both. My wife's got the JKU and I got the JK. So
I plan on it sometime this spring or summer. I'm going to try to get up there for at least a weekend.
Yeah.
Yep.
My wife
plenty of trails, plenty of spots to camp or whatever. So
I know you're only like 2.5, 3 hours away, so it's not so bad.
Yeah, no, not bad at all. And a lot of the local trails around me, I have a lot of really good trails right around me, and they're all like a couple miles from my house. So if all else fails, if you break down, we can run to my house, get tools, and come back and fix it, or drag the Jeep to the house or whatever.
Awesome. Yeah, it's one of my goals is to get up there. I got to get down to Roush too one of these days.
Yeah, Roush is a good time. You should try to make it to the Crawling for Cops event. That's June something.
June. Yep.
Yeah.
You need a park membership too to do those, don't you? Any of the events there are done.
The Roush, yeah. To pay. That's what I was talking about before. You have to pay the $50 membership for the year, and then I think it's $20 for the event or something like that.
Yeah.
Then any money for food and gas and stuff, so it adds up quickly.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you camp at Roush, right?
Yeah, you camp. It's like first come, first serve. It's just like a big parking lot, and you just camp out.
Camping there, right? They never expanded that. There's no running water or anything.
No running water or anything. At least that I'm aware of.
Yeah, we used to. There was a forum that I was a member of way back in like the early 2000s called Jeepaholics Anonymous, and we started arranging a yearly run that we'd go to Paragon every year. And when Paragon closed, we started going to Roush, and it was like the price jump to go from Paragon was like, I want to say it was like $45 or $50 a day, and then Roush, when you included the membership, there was like the extra price. But Paragon never had a campsite, so like it's like now Roush has camping, yay! But it's really just like a dirt lot.
Yeah,
right? No running water or anything. AOAA is like night and day different. They built a campsite there now. I don't know if
that's where I stayed when I went there. Is that campground, it was kind of weird when I first went there because I couldn't find anyone, and then we found someone, and we're like, well, how much is it to camp? They're like, let me ask this other person.
We don't know yet.
Yeah, they were all kind of confused because it was still fairly new. It wasn't last year; it was the year before.
Yeah,
and I think it was only like $20 for just like a normal campsite. If you wanted like one of the RV campsites, it was obviously more, but I figured $20, that's nothing.
yeah. We when we go up there, so the yearly event thing has sort of continued over the years, except it's not nearly as big as it used to be because the forum Jeepaholics Anonymous is long gone. But a bunch of people I met through that, we still all get together. And now we go to AOAA, and there's a campground called Irish Valley, which this is like before AOAA had their own campsite. But we go to this place, and they are just so nice to us, and they remember us from year to year, and they're just great people. So I haven't actually gone to AOA's campsite yet because we keep going to Irish Valley.
That works.
Just
Hey, if it worked for you.
I mean, it's like a 10-minute drive from the park, right? So yeah, so that's a negative. But I mean, it's such a great place to camp. So we just keep going there.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if we could get a bunch of the group together, all us YouTubers together to do a big wheeling event.
Yeah, that could be fun.
I know it's been kind of thrown around a lot, but it was since some of us are so spread out, and you never know when people are available or money and everything. So
Me and Jeep Mama and CPO got together. It's probably almost 2 years ago now.
yeah, I remember seeing the video on that.
It was like January of last year, was it? Maybe even the year before. Anyway, it was a great time. A lot of their viewers came out. I didn't have nearly the following at the time. I was like 200 subscribers or something.
That
Maybe
probably
not even
boosted you up a little bit.
Maybe a little. I don't even remember. I don't remember getting a lot out of it. The thing that I got a lot out of was that call out, the My Jeep story thing that went around.
Oh yeah, that was really good for I think a lot of us.
I got like a couple hundred subscribers out of that one, which was cool.
I was gonna say, didn't you guys race? You and G Mama to whatever or some? No, it was Kyle.
Yeah,
Kyle,
Yeah, right.
Race.
Yeah, we raced to
The Onion
what was
Challenge.
it? 3,000 subscribers, I think it was.
Yeah.
Now
Yep.
she's like blowing me away now. I just barely hit 4,000. She's over 5, I think now.
Yeah. Yeah, she did just hit 5. That's right.
I think she's gonna do a lot more with what she's doing now with the kind of overlanding thing and
Yeah.
visiting a lot of places and meeting up with other people.
Yeah, I really hope it works out for her. It sounds like, I mean, she really went out on a limb in the past month, 2 months.
Yeah, and she got screwed by her job too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
That sucks. Yeah. She'll make it though. I mean, she knows so many people, and she lives Jeep, so I think she'll be all right.
I mean, she's basically, I mean, she did what I think any of us wish we could do if we're in that situation. She cut her lifestyle down to like 0 expenses.
yeah.
Seriously.
So, I mean,
Yeah, all she has to do is really pay for gas and food now.
yeah.
It's not so bad.
So,
I think she's gonna get a lot of the subscribers that were from like I Am Jake, like his videos, because he's kind of not done as many videos, and like he's starting to get back into it. He's got the new Jeep and whatever, but I think if she starts doing a lot of those videos like he was doing, overlanding, going to a new spot, wheeling with some fans, I think she's gonna get a lot of that audience.
yeah.
Yeah. It's sad to see Jake give up. What is it, Jade?
Yeah,
His new rig
I
looks
was
awesome.
really surprised.
Yeah, I kind of saw the writing on the wall because it kind of seemed like even the videos he was putting out, he was getting real bummed that he was, like he said in his video, like he was just stuck. You know,
Yeah.
he wanted to keep moving, and the Jeep just wasn't going to get done, or not in the time frame he wanted.
Yeah, I honestly miss like his old videos when he was going state to state and state, and like when he came up to New Hampshire and we met up, and It was really cool. We got a bunch of people together, went wheeling. I met some new people. So it was a really awesome experience. And now that he's kind of gotten away from that, I think he's lost some of his fan base because people were looking forward to that 50-state road trip. And then it kind of just became into Jeep build. And I'm sitting here, and he was only doing a video like once a month. And I think that was partially because he was bummed out. But I think a lot of his fan base got lost because of that.
Yeah. Excuse me.
My laptop. Sorry. My laptop's about to die, so I'm going to have to let you guys go.
All right.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. See you guys next time.
I'm going to have to drop soon, too, anyway. And since I'm the one hosting, that means you guys are going to have to drop, too. So,
Oh, we've been on this for like, what, an hour and a half now? So
hour and 20, according to the
We've been
counter.
live for an hour and 20.
Yeah, right. We've been
Oh,
on
yeah, I see that
for
now.
about a half an hour more.
What was our max viewers at? Like, what are we hovering at now? Even
Let's see. It says 11 are watching right now.
one of that's me, one of that's you.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
that's
It
nice.
was
Yes.
12, but then Jeep Kitchen dropped. So one of them.
Well, and two, you got to figure. I've been doing some live streams on. I've only done a couple, but I want to do more like live stream walkarounds of people's rigs. And even if people don't tune in at that one time, they can rewatch it afterwards. And
Yeah, I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna leave this live, so that'll be not live. I mean, I'm gonna leave it published. Looks like we had up to 14 viewers, according to the little dashboard here. So
that's not bad for first try, right?
Yeah, right.
And we kind of just rambled, and I liked the format actually. How we kind of we started off with a few brief topics to kind of get us going, but then we kind of went off on tangents and talked about what's current or whatever, and I think that worked.
Some of the best content is the tangents.
Yeah.
It's hard to plan that stuff. I don't know if you guys have ever listened to the High Sierra 4x4 podcast.
Yep.
I don't even know if they're still doing a show because I stopped listening a while ago just for reasons.
Yeah.
But they used to go on some of the most awesome tangents where you'd like learn all kinds of tidbits about axles and like all kinds of crazy tech that was just great. You know, like I listened for the tangents.
Oh, and I'm quite random and ADD at times, so I'll be able to get off on a tangent super easy.
Right.
Let's see some of the stuff I have to cut out of my videos. I just go down a rabbit hole. I'm like, what has nothing to do with what I'm doing? Just cut it out.
You just got to put them in as bloopers at the end.
Yeah, that's when they become bloopers. So yeah, hopefully we'll have another one of these in a week, and we'll see who shows up. We'll have to chat off air, of course, about how we're going to make that happen and who's going to be able to be there. Like I said at the beginning of this broadcast, if any of you missed it who weren't tuned in, this all came out of a Facebook group that I came up with. It's for a bunch of off-road YouTubers. So if you're an off-road YouTuber and you're not part of the 4xTubers group, please look it up on Facebook. And if you want to be part of the group, then you can also be part of this stream and collaborate and whatnot. It is a closed group, so you'll have to apply, and I'll have to figure out that you actually have a YouTube channel. So that's really the only bar for entry.
And just put one video out; it counts.
Yeah, right. So yeah,
Works for me.
So we'll figure out when the next one's going to be, and like I said before, Bearded Jeeper's going to host it. So go watch his channel to make sure you know when it's going to go live. It should be around the same time next Friday.
Yeah.
Cool.
So
Thanks,
we'll
guys.
shift up to that one. All right, and with that, I think we're going to say good night. Thank you to everyone who decided to watch, and the chat was just hopping. I mean, there's a bunch of conversation going on here. I couldn't even keep up with it all.
No, it was scrolling too fast for me to keep up and try to keep up with the conversation as well. So I'm gonna have to read back through a lot of it.
Yeah, I wish it was on my screen so I could have paid attention. I kept looking off screen on my phone just to see what was going on.
Yeah, right.
So.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you. Yeah, can't talk now. Thank you, folks, for watching, and we will catch you next time we do this thing. So, good night.
Good night.